Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 267. So, it was a busy week. It was a fun week. We did a lot of things. We got a lot of things done over the last week. We only had some, in some ways, minor progress on projects, though, for the channel. If you know, you know. It's actually my husband's cup. I stole it, but no, we went to a crawfish boil Saturday, so I worked on Troy's socks on the way there across town. On the way back, I was looking something up. On Sunday, on the way to the church, I was knitting. On the way back, I was looking something up. We were going back and forth with questions about different things, and Troy was saying something about a show he remembered seeing as a kid, but couldn't remember anything about it. And so anyway, I was playing Google while he drove. So I didn't even get that much work done in the car, but I did get some things done. So we can jump in with the basket. It's going to be very short unless I just like go on and on and on about something. This should actually be a fairly short video because there's not a whole lot of new stuff for me to talk about, really. So I got about an inch done on Troy's sock. I mean, these literally should have been done by now, but that's just how it's gone. These are going to be like one of those projects where it's like, this is why I stall out on socks for 2 years. And I don't know why. There's no reason this pair of socks should be giving me the business like they are. But I think it's just because every time I go to work on them, something happens. Not bad things, just things. Like I did take them. I finally made it on an outdoor walk. It wasn't raining and I was ready to go at 7 o'clock. So it was like perfect. And then I ran into a neighbor and ended up talking to her for a huge part of my walk. So I didn't get to knit on my walk as much as I thought I was going to, which is great. I got to know one of my neighbors and she's a really cool older lady. She has good wisdom and insight. And she has smart. She's smart about a lot of things. She's a smart lady. But yeah, so I ended up talking to a neighbor and ended up not knitting because I don't knit, talk, and walk. I just knit and walk. I do have the heels on my haunted house socks done. A lot of my time recently, it's just been really hard to sit down. I'm not sure where I got the ghost marker from. I know I got it from someone because I was talking about how cute the little hands are, and I don't remember who I got it from. I remember talking about it though. So I don't know if it was an ALCU Yarnable. I don't know if it was from one of you guys. I remember getting it though. But these are my heel tab socks. So we have the cuff folded over. One row we started with the pinks and purples. One row we started with the blues and grays. So we've got one heel here and one heel here. I did opt to cut my yarn after doing the heels because I was going to have like half of my front row pass was going to be the heel color before the new color started. And I'd rather have my yarn pick up across the top of the sock with the new color. So especially since it's just one row of these colors that were left. Actually, there's a little bit more of this one. I'm not sure how those were off so far, but neither here nor there. So I will have to, once again, I'll add another set of ends to the tangled mess here. I may actually try to weave in ends on these before I join in. If I can at least get all the cuff yarns tied in, then I can worry about the foot yarns. But there's a lot of ends on this pair going for socks that are so short. But heels do take a while. So, it takes me anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half to work a heel, depending on the heel. So, that's a lot of time when you think about like how much time that really is. So that's like up to 4 hours of sitting down knitting. That's a lot of time for even me. Two other things to share with you guys. We have the first gingham square that will actually go into my granddaughter's blanket. So I test ran one of these a couple weeks ago now. So now we have the first one from what will actually go in the blanket. The other squares on this will be off-white and the coral color that's in the same depth as the rose color here. This is a pink color. So this is Premier Basics. And the off-white will also be what we join. The off-white is Karen Pound Baby. And this one just needs to be like somewhere between like twin size bed size and toddler child size. So I think the 4 balls I have of each of the basics and the 3 balls of the Karen Baby will be enough. On Saturday, we should have a tutorial for this square. I've had quite a few people already asking about that, and that shouldn't be a very hard tutorial for me to film. So I'm aiming to have that up on Saturday. Fingers crossed. And then finally, we have my Sweet Dreams cardigan. So it's almost done. I am done with the crochet. I just have a ton of ends to weave in. We will probably have a more in-depth conversation about some of these things. Some of these things will probably end up being coming tutorials here in the next couple weeks. But I did, like I said, I used the Sweet Dreams pattern, which will be in the description box down below, as an inspiration. I ended up kind of doing a whole bunch of different things on mine. I tapered my sleeves, number one. For the cuff, I did 16 rows, continuing in a taper and then kind of expanding just a little bit out for the turn up here. On the turn up, I did a back row half double crochet so it would actually fold in a straight line. And I plan on tacking my turn up back so it stays tacked back. So that was another big change. Then I changed the collar on this to be kind of a shawl collar. So for this, I did 14 rows of a half double crochet. I did a 3rd loop half double crochet to turn the edge here. And from the back of the neck down to about right here, I am going to tack the collar in a folded over position so it lays flat around the neck. And we'll leave the bottom portion untacked, I believe. That way I can close it using like ball cufflinks or button cufflinks. I can close it, wrap it and pin it kind of style. Or I can just leave it kind of open to be kind of riggedy raggedy. But as we're not quite done with a lot of the finishing work on this, just the crochet part of this is done. I'm not going to do like a full try on or anything. I did take 7 rows down at the bottom, worked all the way around the sweater in one. Then for the last 8 rows, I worked a U and the horseshoe of the front to the collar. I cut the yarn, rejoined, and then worked around. And then the cuff here on this edge, as well as the entire sweater edge, is finished in a back single crochet, backward single crochet, or crab stitch. So yeah, lots and lots of changes. This is actually quite heavy. The tan alone is like 370 grams. And there's like another 250, 300 grams of the red and green in there too. So I have not weighed it yet, but definitely heavy. It's a very heavy cardigan. So that's actually what I spent most of my time on. And I'm just going to say, like, each one of those rows all the way around, the collar around the bottom edge and then back up the other collar, that circle took forever. Forever. I swear each one of those rows took me like an hour and a half. And I don't know if I just got tired of doing the half double crochet over and over and over again in a big loop or what. So tired. Yesterday, in one day, I did the 8 rows around just the collar plus the crab stitch around the entire thing. So yesterday was my day to like sit down and just kind of decompress, catch up, get some work done, have some fun playtime. I was up very early, so I got done, with everything I wanted to get done for the day, as well as my workout and everything. I was done with everything by like noon. So I worked from 3 to 12 yesterday, and then from 12 to 4, I just kind of sat on the sofa watching TV. So I did watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which is the Dream Warriors with Patricia Arquette. And then I also watched 4. So both of these actually, if these were given serious movie treatment, these would both be excellent movies. There are certain things, especially because of where they fall in my lifetime of cinema. Reed is kind of cheesy and corny. But to be honest, the claymation work was phenomenal. The stop motion animation was phenomenal when it was used. The practical effects were excellent. The animatronic effects were really good. So it's funny because number 3 in particular, if you took that plot and actually gave it a serious treatment for a movie, everybody would be talking about what a great movie that is. But because it was treated like a teen horror movie when it was filmed, then you add the 40 years of age on it, because that came out, 3 came out in 1987, 4 came out in 1988. So these are 40-year-old movies now. They kind of fall in that zone where, for me, this is the retro I experience. So for me, it's kind of cringy. We're in that 40-year gap. So we're in the cringe factor gap zone there, versus going back another generation where then it's now like retro cool, like, wearing grandma's clothes. So it's kind of funny. There's this weird, it's why a lot of people don't like 70s architecture and want to get rid of a lot of the postmodern architecture in the US and Europe, because to like my parents' generation, that seems very cringe, because that's like their childhood memories versus, So anyway, I was really surprised. And actually number 4, they kind of rushed through the plot a little bit, especially with the recasting choices that they did for some of the characters. I wish they hadn't done that. I wish they either had character continuity between 3 and 4, or they hadn't rushed through the plot. Because if you actually look at the movie as a whole, once again, the concept of what it was actually really good. But you lost a lot of things in trying to really push through. So I was a little frustrated with that, as far as like great ideas, not perfect execution. And there are certain things that it was just kind of like, I did in number 3 though giggle. I had to double check and make sure I wasn't like going crazy. So number 3, we also have a young Lawrence Fishburne in it as well. So I was kind of giggling over that. I was like, is that really him? I don't remember him being in this. So 3, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the 3rd movie before. So this was my first time actually sitting down and watching it beginning to end. I'd seen parts of it. I knew what the concept of it was and everything, but I don't think I'd actually watched the whole thing. I knew nothing about number 4 going in. So number 4, I was blind. So anyway, continuing on my Spooky Spring make-along, theme here, I have been actually watching the Nightmare on Elm Street while working on my cardigan. Now I just need to do the finishing work and the kind of like tailoring and tacking that needs to be done, some steaming, and then I'll be ready for my final reveal of how my Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger inspired cardigan turned out. That was a lot to say there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that is what I worked on this week. I have not, once again, had time to work on any cards. I've literally, from the time I get up till the time Troy comes home, been busy doing things. So like, other than my 2 days in the last 2 weeks to sit down and like watch movies in the afternoon, like I really haven't had like just the uninterrupted time to work on things. Even when I think I'm going to have uninterrupted time, something happens. So that's life. That's what we deal with as adults. Next week will be an interesting week. I don't think anything between today and when I film next will be impacted, but the following week will be. So stay tuned. Let's see how this goes. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic week. If you've been watching something fun, let me know in the comment section down below. Just a reminder, I know you're hearing this from a lot of content creators. There's a whole new thing with the way the algorithm is working here on YouTube. Please make sure that you're liking and commenting on content creators' videos that you're enjoying and interacting with the content to help other people see it. Make sure that you're subscribed. Double check your subscriptions because, again, I'm finding myself unsubscribed from a lot of people that I do actually follow and watch regularly. So I have a feeling we're about to see like my subscribers do that 1,500 subscriber drop again, but it is what it is. I have not been able to cross 10,000 since I started the channel. I have been as close as 9,960 and had a 2,500 subscriber drop in 24 hours. So get to look forward to that next. Not looking forward to that drop again because we're just slowly climbing back up again. But do check who you're subscribed to. Do double check that you are actually getting notifications for the channels that you are actually wanting to see and see show up in your feed. So I know on my other channel that I use for watching like all my weird stuff, all of my true crime has fallen off. I can't get it to stay on there. And a lot of my horror content and just weird news content also have fallen off, and I can't get them to repopulate and stay on my recommended or recently uploaded list. So double check. As I said, if you know, you know. I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Please take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.